Dzień dobry, witam Państwa bardzo serdecznie na kolejnym wydarzeniu organizowanym przez Regionalny Ośrodek Debaty Międzynarodowej w Toruniu, Akademię Kultury Społecznej i Medialnej w Toruniu, Akademię Nauk Stosowanych oraz Biuro Współpracy Międzynarodowej i Międzyuczelnianej Akademii Kultury Społecznej i Medialnej w Toruniu, która realizuje jakże wspaniały program Erasmus+. Mamy dzisiaj zaszczyt gościć kolejną świetną osobę, wykładowczynię, ekspertkę, a co ważniejsze kierowniczkę Biura Współpracy Międzynarodowej na Uniwersytecie Państwowym w Tbilisi, czyli w Gruzji. Jako że nasz gość nie mówi po polsku, zatem dla jasności i przejrzystości całego wywiadu przejdę w tym momencie na język angielski. So, Tea, welcome in Poland. Hello.
Thank you so much. Hello.
So, I will start with introduce to you to our viewers. Dear Tea, your present position is the head of the Department of Foreign Relations at the Ivane Javakhishvili Tbilisi State University in Georgia, correct?
Yes, exactly.
According to your education, you are amazing CV. You finished Harvard University, Cambridge, United States, when you got the degree Master of Education, Graduate School of Education. Also, you finished National University of Educational Training and Administration in New Delhi in India, and also you finished Ivane Javakhishvili Tbilisi State University in Georgia when you got your master degree in American Studies at Faculty of Humanities. And also, you are the member of the American Studies Association of Georgia, board member of the Harvard Alumni Association in Georgia, and also member of the General Assembly of the Center for Social Sciences. Exactly. Thank you very much that you accept my invitation during this hot time, because it's summertime. In Poland today we have more than 30 degrees, but as I heard in Georgia it's temperature much higher.
Yes, it is. Thank you for having me here. It is a pleasure.
Also pleasure for me. At the beginning, according to the interview, of course I must start with the typical question. Is this your first visit to Poland?
No, not exactly. I've been to Poland many times, but this is my very first visit to the city of Toruń.
Okay, it's nice. It's nice that you many times visited our country. What did you know about Poland before you came to this country, to this city? What was the knowledge of the typical Georgian citizen?
Oh, there's a strong historical links between Georgia and Poland, and there's a lot of information that circles in Georgia about the Poland, about the history, about the beauty of the country, about the openness and kindness of the people, about the very exquisite cuisine you have. So I have had some background information before my very first trip to Poland, and then since I travel here pretty frequently, I've been updating and upgrading my knowledge about the country, the culture, and the people.
I have only in positive way.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for these kind words. Georgia in Poland is very well known, but can you a little describe your country?
Oh, it is a small country in the South Caucasus region, surrounded by various countries, most of the neighbors of which are very good friends of Georgian people. It has a population of less than 4 million people. We have been historically very active, not only within the region, but also trying to prove our way through our identity that we feel, which is a European identity. Georgia has its own. Georgia is an Orthodox country. Majority of the citizens are Orthodox Christians. It has its own language. We have been one of the earliest countries to accept Christianity back in the 4th century, and we are a small but very proud nation in the Caucasus region.
So small nation, but in Georgia lives mainly Georgians, or also you have some minorities.
No, we do have some minorities. We have Azerbaijani minority, Armenian minority, and some smaller groups as well. We used to have, we still have some Jewish minority, Greek minority. After the collapse of Soviet Union, when there was an opportunity to migrate to Greece and then to Israel, many people left, but most of them still keep actively in touch with their contacts in Georgia. They generally come back for summer vacations. They do bring their kids to kind of have this continue the connection they have had with Georgia.
Main languages in Georgia are?
Georgian language is the national language of Georgia. English as a foreign language is the most widespread foreign language. German is pretty popular. Turkish is becoming more and more popular. French is there. There are schools that teach French language, secondary schools. I mean, Italian. There is a school that teaches an Italian Georgian school that teaches Italian very actively. We as a university teach more than 40 foreign languages. Polish is one of them.
Oh.
We have a long-standing cooperation with Poland in general, with some of our partners. With Poland, we have been partnering for more than 20 years now, and that allows us to host Polish lecturers of Polish language actively and continuously.
Thank you. So if somebody of you really want to go to the Georgia, do not worry. Of course, Georgian is a little difficult. I had opportunity to recognize a little Georgian alphabet. It's beautiful but difficult. But English, no problem.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. What is the status of the Tbilisi State University?
Tbilisi State University is a public higher education institution. It is the oldest and the largest higher education institution not only in Georgia but in the South Caucasus region. Right now we have almost 24,000 students, approximately 5,000 staff members, including the faculty members, the administration, the auxiliary staff member. We are a city type of university. We are not located in one single campus, but we are scattered in more than 20, almost 30 different buildings, most of which are located in Tbilisi, but some are outside Tbilisi as well. We deliver more than 200 academic programs at undergraduate, master's and PhD level. Absolute majority of these are delivered in Georgian language. However, approximately 30 of our degree programs, most of them at the master's level, are delivered in a foreign language. Majority of these delivered in foreign language are delivered in English, but we have programs that we deliver in French and in German language as well.
Do you have the system of habilitation after PhD?
No,
you don't. So if I really want to make habilitation after my PhD, which I made in Toruń, so rather not in Georgia.
We do have a system where we host international faculty members from our partner universities for a duration of 1 semester or 2 semesters at max. But it is not a kind of technically it's not a system.
Like a postdoc?
It's more of a kind of a postdoc opportunity that we host. However, we do not really open it ourselves, but we are open to suggestions that we receive from our partner universities.
Of course, I must ask. Ivane Javakhishvili z Tbilisi State University. So Tbilisi State University is easy, but Ivane Javakhishvili, probably not many people in Poland heard that name and surname.
Ivane Javakhishvili is one of the founders of Tbilisi State University, who has collected in the beginning of the 20th century, during the 3 years of independence Georgia had between the Tsarist Russia and the communism. He had an idea of establishing a national university, collected people around him, like-minded people, the then young scholars, most of whom have studied abroad themselves. And then created this group of around 10-15 people and established the National University. So our university bears the name of it's one of its founding fathers.
Understand. Of course, Georgia is very well known here in Poland. Many people heard about the Georgia or even were in Georgia through the, for example, touristic aims. But of course, we heard about the situation in Georgia through the general international situation. What is the current situation in Georgia?
You mean in terms of
internal and external?
Internally, we are with most of our neighbors, excluding Russia. We have very good relations, very cooperating. We have economic, cultural, educational, historical ties with Armenia, Azerbaijan, with Turkey as well. Well, when it comes to Russia, as many others, we also have had some of our own problems within the past around 30 years. We have had 2 wars with Russia, which led to the occupation of more than 20%, exactly 22% of Georgian territory. So that is something that is a major issue at the international arena that Georgia faces. We're trying to regain control through the peacekeeping peaceful activities on these territories. So we have approximately 300,000 citizens that are internally displaced in their own country, which does play a kind of a very heavy role in the social composition and social situation in Georgia. We are, of course, right now hosting an open to receiving Ukrainian refugees as much as we can. Well, Georgia is not a particularly rich country, but with the resources available at our hands, we try as much as we can in this very difficult situation to our brother nation, Ukraine. We know that the war they are right now fighting is the war that Georgia has already started, and it continues even today.
Yes, unfortunately the international situation is very difficult, but we have to live, we have to somehow cooperate also. But if you will see some people from Poland, they will think about traveling to Georgia through the, for example, tourist aim, you will underline that Georgia is safe.
Absolutely, it is a totally safe country. It's one of the safest countries according to the safety index. I don't follow this very closely, but I get the information from the news. So it's absolutely safe. Tourists are most welcome. With Georgian government, Georgian state has been investing heavily in developing comfortable tourist infrastructure throughout the last more than 10 years now, maybe 20 years. So it's a very comfortable country. It's a mountainous country, so there's a lot to see and a lot to experience. We are one of the oldest wine producing countries, where we have been producing wine continuously for the past 8,000 years. So there's a region that is very famous with the wines it produces. There are mountains, as I've already mentioned. We have access to the Black Sea, so there's a shore that is very, very nice and pleasant to visit. So there's a lot to experience. I guarantee you that as a tourist, you will never get bored in Georgia.
If for you it will be not enough, remember food.
Yes.
Food is always the magnetic element for every tourist. And according to my experience, I was in Georgia in February, food you have amazing.
Being a Georgian, it's a little awkward to be promoting own gastronomic culture, but yes, Georgian cuisine is one of the exquisite cuisines that you get to experience.
I agree totally with you. And another question, because we have short time, so many questions, is about the element which is very important for the Polish people, in my opinion, in general, for all Slavic people: history. History is important. History describes us. It's the element of our self-identification. How important is history for Georgians?
Same in Georgia. History is very important to Georgia. History is what brought us to today. Georgia has never been a particularly big country, not to mention an empire or anything similar to that. But throughout the historical struggles that we have had, throughout the identity that we have developed within the course of these many centuries, is what brought us up today. Georgians are very proud of their history, of the struggle, of the fights they have gone throughout the many centuries that brought them, that made them survive, unlike many larger empires and many larger countries. And that really defines to a large extent the identity of a modern Georgia.
So history somehow describe the identity of Georgians?
Yes, it does. It surely does.
Okay. It's amazing. It's amazing that history is so important also for our brothers from Georgia. My next question is, of course, concentrated about the current situation, because Poland is located in the Central Europe.
Yes.
We have neighbors, nice and a little less nice, of course. Of course, Georgia is very, very well known because of the 2008 and the positions of the Polish president Lech Kaczyński, and Georgia has some tensions with Russia through the territory which is under the
some major tensions, I would say.
Yes. But also in the Caucasian region, we heard about some tensions between your neighbors.
Yes.
So, according to the current difficult situation, how we will describe the relations of Georgia with the neighbors?
As I already mentioned, with most of our neighbors, we have very good, very active relations, economically very active, politically active, culturally very active. Well, there are, as you've rightly mentioned, there are very nice neighbors and less nice neighbors. Obviously, we have our issues, the 22% that is territory of our territory that is occupied with Russia, so that does not really leave, that does not really give you much chances of developing any other relations until the moment, at least, when these territories are occupied. But with other neighbors, with Armenia, Azerbaijan, with Turkey, we've been very nicely connected throughout many years now. I understand your question related to the tension between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Georgia has been trying its best to also play a positive impact in bringing two neighboring nations down at the table for a diplomatic talk.
Georgia, Poland, Georgia. How you will describe the current level of relations between our countries?
Well, I don't work in the diplomacy as such. However, I do follow Georgian diplomacy, trying to follow it pretty closely. I know there are very close diplomatic relations between the state of Georgia and Poland. We have embassies in both countries for many years now. Poland was one of the first countries who recognized the independence of Georgia. You have very strong presence with your diplomatic representation in Tbilisi, but also they cover the entire country. There is a lot of cooperation and support that we receive within the higher education system, particularly within the higher education system that I can speak about, which is bilateral relations, which is support to in many different ways in promoting not only Polish opportunities in Poland, but also opportunities that are out there for Georgian citizens, Georgian youth within the European Union.
Your visit here in Poland is thanks to amazing program Erasmus+. So thank you very much Erasmus+ for your support, because Erasmus+, of course, it's the European Union program, but thanks to many projects we can create one global educational market. During the last days, you had the opportunity to see the University of Social Media Culture, to eventually watch how we work, what we've done, etc. So, what is your opinion about the University of Social and Media Culture in Toruń, Poland?
I have been totally impressed with the amount of work you dedicate, particularly to international relations. Being a relatively smaller in size university, it is amazing to see the network that you have created, the mobilities that you have been able to implement and plan on implementing, and the openness, first of all, the openness that is here, not only within the international office, but with all the others that I had a chance to meet, including Father Rector, who was so kind to meet with me, and to see how diverse and open in terms of international cooperation this university is. I don't mention here the quality of education which you deliver, which is already a known fact, so I won't speak in detail about that, and this gives us an opportunity of discussing ideas for future closer partnership, not only through the international credit mobility, but capacity building, various research projects, very diverse opportunities that are out there once you find a partner that you trust and you believe in.
Thank you very much for this kind words, and thank you very much that you accept our invitation and the invitations for our special interview for our viewers. Our special guests were Tea Gergedava from the Tbilisi State University, the head of International Relations Office. Thank you very much for your participations. I moi drodzy, bardzo dziękuję za udział, za to, że byliście z nami, mogliście obejrzeć ten niezwykły wywiad, który miał dzisiaj miejsce, i zapraszam wszystkich do kolejnych wydarzeń organizowanych przez Regionalny Ośrodek Debaty Międzynarodowej w Toruniu, Akademię Kultury Społecznej i Medialnej w Toruniu oraz Biuro Współpracy Międzynarodowej i Międzyuczelnianej Akademii Kultury Społecznej i Medialnej w Toruniu, realizującej program Erasmus+. Dziękuję bardzo.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me here.
Pleasure for me.